I'm a sophomore political science major from Fayetteville, North Carolina. This year, I serve as the parliamentarian of the Senate for the Nexus administration. I would like to welcome you all to the SGA Crown Forum. A special welcome goes out to the class of 2024. We are so glad that you chose to join the Morehouse family. Just know that this is one of the best decisions you could have made. I understand that none of us expected to be 100% virtual, and I know that there may be many challenges for us with virtual learning, but each of you are now proving that you're resilient. Brothers, continue to be amazing individuals who are committed to our mission, dedicated to your studies, contributing members of the campus community, and the community at large. Focus on what you have versus what you don't, and focus on what you know versus what you don't to help manage things when they feel overwhelming. We are stronger as a community than as doing things alone. Remember that with great challenge comes great opportunity. I wish you all much success, and we will come out of this stronger than ever.
Good morning, faculty, staff, and students. My name is Jaden Alexander Cody, a junior economics major with a double minor in political science and sales from Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm honored to have the privilege of serving as the Chief Operating Officer for the Morehouse College Student Government Association during this 2020-2021 academic school year. In a year that seems to be themed to the attack on what's Black, that has proven to be hard for people, but even more so for people like us, that has shown or re-shown the ugly head of racism and bigotry in our streets, police forces, governments, and even hospitals. A year that will forever be marked by the loss of monuments of Black male excellence and heroism. Morehouse and those that she has chosen to be leaders are needed now more than ever. The SGA Crown Forum is the occasion. For this reason, you will both hear and see leaders from the three branches of the student governing body here at the college. You will hear from Chief Justice Elijah Wortham, with whom the responsibility of defending and representing the rights of our students rests. He leads a team of young men who have made it their mission to ensure that all students who attend our institution are never curtailed in their pursuit of advocacy and accountability. This will be followed by Gabriel Dinard Cloud, the duly elected 84th Vice President and 91st President of the Senate, a man who stands alongside his Senate upholding his promise to the Constitution of this organization, serving with the purpose of creating engrafted and needed structural change to improve our student experience and therefore our lives. This series of meeting men will conclude with one whose presence is literally heard in a room before it is felt or seen, a leader who has grown into the crown that Mother Morehouse has held above his head since stepping foot on this campus only 6 short semesters ago. The 89th president of the Morehouse College Student Government Association, Cameron Markel Nolan. Undergirding his duty as president is his maintained commitment to being a champion of change, a light bearer for this here brotherhood, and an ambassador for the ensured achievement for all students who have called this house a home. It is my hope that when you hear them and their sentiments for our shared future through this intersection of activism and academia, that you feel their love for this institution and their words prick your hearts and remind you why you chose Morehouse. Moreover, I hope that when you hear their oath of office, that it brings to your remembrance the purpose of the Student Government Association here at the college, to act as a hyperactive nexus, if you will, never to be silenced, only to be heard. This is the occasion.
Hello everyone, I am Elijah Wortham, a senior marketing major from Los Angeles, California, and it is my pleasure to serve as a Chief Justice for this year's Student Government Association. I would like to welcome the class of 2024 and all transfer students who have recently joined this Morehouse family and assure you that you have entered the right institution at the right time. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the constant image of our siblings being tortured, killed, and kidnapped, our community has been in turmoil. We all have been forced to adapt, many of us still struggling to adapt to life's new norm, and many experiences have been stolen from us, causing us to rightfully feel docile. We can talk about all of the hardships that 2020 has handed to us, but we must also be aware of the precious opportunity that we have all been granted. We can finally be still, breathe, and see who and what is around us. While we are in the state of forced isolation, we must take the time to look within and find what gives us the energy and the power to keep fighting. We must find these power sources that drive us to achieve academic excellence and give us a reason to not only advocate for ourselves, but for our brothers and sisters as well. We must spend this time educating ourselves and building our muscles so that when the gates finally do open, we are ready. Do not let this moment be wasted, because if used properly, it has the potential to change your life forever. Stay healthy, stay happy, and love better. Thank you.
Good morning, my Morehouse family and brothers. I pray this address finds you resolute, reassured, and reaffirmed in your pursuit for excellence in the true Morehouse fashion. My name is Gabriel Dinard Cloud, a senior business administration major from Valdosta, Georgia, and I humbly serve as your SGA Vice President and President of the Student Senate. The most recent events in our country with the killing and commodification of the life of Breonna Taylor, racism's egregious and heinous acts enacted upon Black bodies every single day, or the pandemic that has shaken our communities to its core, I know you are in need of relief. And be assured that I'm sending positive energy and prayers your way. You know, there is something that is intrinsically sacred about the Morehouse experience. It's something that we can't put our hands on. It's something that is very difficult to quantify, but we do understand that the Morehouse mystique is ever present here at our college. You have now joined the ranks of great men such as Dr. Eddie Glaude, Artesius Miller, and Vernon Perry, to name a few. As your SGA Vice President and President of the Student Senate, it is my duty and my charge to see that you feel that experience in your homes and apartments around the world. This administration sits at the nexus of the intersection of academia and activism, the legislative branch of which I serve as leader, and your student senators will seek to assist you and your Morehouse family with tackling your real issues in real time through our increased social media presence and a special communication text and email platform that will come directly to me and your senators. You will hear me throughout this academic year constantly use the word we. I use the word we because the work that needs to be done does not just start with students, but it starts from the administration, down to the faculty, down to the staff, and the student body. We are distanced physically, but in the Morehouse family, distance is but an obstacle that we can easily overcome. I implore you to reach out to those in your class and those classes before you and behind you. Remain in contact and foster strong bonds of brotherhood, scholarship, leadership, and service, so that when we do return to these hallowed grounds of Morehouse College, life will be that much greater. The success that the Student Senate will have this year will be because of the synergy and relationships that we have built with you, our family. Student senators normally are doing walkthroughs and canvassing our college. The same thing will be happening virtually. As you see during the elections, that we have a strong cadre of leaders prepared to ensure your voice is heard at every table at the college. Now, I close with this. Let me be very clear. Just because we are not physically on campus, that does not mean that I, Gabriel Cloud, will ever get up, give up, let up, and refuse to speak up for you, my Morehouse family. You are the ones that the world has been waiting for, and I will give my last breath to ensure that you come into the fullness of what that means in your life. Morehouse men, whatever you do, don't let God repent for having made you. Into ties more brotherly. This is your Vice President signing off. Be well.
There was a marine biologist lost in Australia, and she was conducting an experiment. She gathered a shark, and then she gathered bait fish and placed them all in one tank. And now the shark, being a shark, did as what sharks do, and instantly saw the bait fish and swallowed them whole. Then the marine biologist continued to have this experiment go on, but this time she did a little slight variation. She placed a fiberglass divider in between the tank to separate the bait fish on one side and the shark on the other. Unbeknownst to the shark, thinking things were normal, the shark then instantly crashed into the fiberglass divider with the expectation that they were going to get a sweet treat of a bait fish. This experiment kept going on, and the shark kept hitting the divider until the shark lost interest. It no longer just went for the divider. It simply just stayed on their side of the tank and minded its own business. Then finally, the marine biologist pulled the divider out from the tank. And then, one would assume that the shark would now, being free of all its troubles, free of all its obstacles, would now get his bait fish at the end. But the shark lost all interest. The shark no longer cared. See, even without the divider in between, the shark had no passion, no drive to even achieve their goals anymore. So moral of the story, don't allow these fake barriers to set you back. My name is Cameron Markel Nolan. I am a graduating senior economics major with a minor in sales from Jackson, Mississippi. And I have the esteemed pleasure and privilege of serving as your 89th Student Government Association President at Morehouse College. Now, being 100% remote has provided new opportunities for us all, new challenges to overcome. And I see no time better than now to turn lemons into lemonade. To my family in the class of 2024, my heart bleeds for you. You all have been dealt an unfortunate hand, but have let that go to the past. You all are resilient, strong, focused, determined, all of the qualities in which solidify your role in being a man of Morehouse, and for that, I am proud of you. For my returning family in the class of 2023, 2022, and to the graduating class of 2021, welcome back to an unfinished mission. We all know the goals in which we set for ourselves, and though they may be altered, I still trust that your process has not deviated. I still have joy in knowing that you all are coming into a new phase of your life, and for that, I'm immensely thankful to even call you all my family. So I want to thank you all for being present in the inaugural and historic first ever virtual SGA Crown Forum. Now I understand things look completely different than what we anticipated. But see, the problem with life is that there's a whole book on problems, but only a chapter of solutions. So my charge to the student population is to provide those solutions. Be creative as you possibly can in this space, so that in the next season, in the next phase of life, we can seek those achievements that our heart so desires. I also charge the Morehouse College administration just to simply listen. See, Mother Morehouse is crying aloud right now, and her students need to be felt. They need to be heard. We had goals, aspirations, visions, and all of those plans were contingent upon the love that we expected to have from Mother Morehouse. It still exists. It's still present. But when we say something, we're not just talking. We're telling you. From the mouth of babes will the people be saved. So my charge is that we continue to listen and let everyone's voice be heard. We're in a brand new season. The metamorphosis that you must undergo right now is absolutely vital to whom you are becoming. Embrace this change and acknowledge the fact that there exists no barriers in front of you that are preventing you from becoming your truest self. The sixth president of Morehouse College, Dr. Benjamin Elijah Mears, charged his students by saying, "Whatever you do, strive to do it so well that no man living and no man dead and no man yet to be born can do it any better." But see, I want to take that just a step further. My ask of you all is not to determine just what you will do well, but what shall your legacy be? See, legacy is my favorite word, and my definition of legacy is leaving every space better than what you found it. So family, who will you be? Who will you aid? Will you allow these fake barriers to prevent you from unlocking all of your achievements? You have been blessed and privileged enough to attend Morehouse College, so maximize your time here. And just once your legacy has been cemented, that's the point in which you know it's time to pave a road for somebody else.
My message begins this morning with a reference to a television program that aired for about 25 seasons back in the 1950s, and it was called To Tell the Truth. The object of the game was to have a group of panelists determine which one of three contestants was the real person and which of the two of the three were imposters. All three contestants used the same name, and it was the duty of the panelists to question them to find flaws in their presentations so that they could determine who were the imposters. And then the host would ask the trademark question, will the real Mr. Blank please stand up? The imposters would then make a motion as if to stand, but only one, the real contestant, would eventually stand up. Many years later, today in 2014, we pose a similar question, but this time we ask, will the real Morehouse man please stand up? There has never been a time when great leaders, strong leaders, leaders who are exemplars of the best of character and integrity were needed more than they are needed now. Many of our nation's schools, for example, are faced with unbelievable challenges. A second grader carried a gun to school capable of blowing up a Mack truck. One teenager killed another teenager because of a dispute over a sandwich. A short kid killed a tall kid because he was picking on him. And alarming statistics plague the landscape. 39% of the homeless population in the United States is young people under the age of 18. A Department of Health and Human Services study found that 46% of homeless youth left their home because of physical abuse, and 17% left because of sexual abuse. And more children are born from NBA players in cities where they play than in their own families. And many of these NBA players retire broke because of countless paternity suits, and the list goes on and on and on. We live in a time when the only hope for the African American community is intelligent, focused, and well-educated young women, and especially young men like you, to get involved in the programs of service that address societal ills. We can no longer look to the federal government or to another race to solve our problems. But for you see, it was not until a strong coterie of mostly black leaders, including Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and others from colleges and universities, from churches, from community groups, organized and strategized to challenge the process and to meet head on the ravages of segregation in the South. It was then and only then that change began to take place. If change for the better is going to continue to emerge, then we ourselves must make it happen again. I do not need to remind you that Morehouse College is not the only place in the United States that has produced great leaders, but it just seems to me that a place with this many intelligent young men engaged in the Congress of Development and Learning should also be the place that produces the lion's share of strong leadership in this country. It just makes sense to me. Now, keep in mind that attending Morehouse College alone will not automatically make you a great leader. For leadership comes from a certain development and global exposure, from a certain bent of mind, from a certain character and behavior, a certain engagement of intentional training, and from a certain pattern of choices that one continues to make throughout one's life. In other words, it is a process.